more than 80 countries, including India, South Africa, which are the members of the World Trade Organization, have demanded waiver of patents, at least temporarily, on the COVID-19 vaccines. Because the world today needs COVID-19 vaccine. It is just not possible for the poorer countries to afford these vaccines. Well, countries like India have supplied vaccines to as many as 30 African countries. But if the entire mankind need to be vaccinated, it's just not possible for these countries to financially afford buying these vaccines. And the problem with this pandemic is, as long as the virus exists anywhere in the world, the threat of virus spreading to the other countries will always remain. That has been our experience in the past too. So therefore, there is a universal vaccination for the entire mankind is the basic prerequisite for the world to come out of this pandemic. But quite unfortunately, the developed nation, the richer countries' approach is quite different. They are ensuring that the vaccines will be given only to their population. So there is a vaccine nationalism that is prevailing today. In fact, the countries like United States and the Europe and UK are not ready to even share the vaccines. Many of these Western countries, including United States, have signed purchase contracts with the pharma companies for the supply of vaccines more than what their population actually require also. So this kind of a vaccine nationalism is adversely affecting the worldwide program of vaccination. And the cost is also very, very important. For example, the Moderna company charges around $25 per dose for its vaccine to the United States government. And it charges $35 for other countries. Similarly, the Pfizer's company charges $19. So how many countries in the world can afford spending $19 or $35 to get to get a one particular dose of vaccine? It is just not possible for these countries to even spend so much money. So obviously we have seen the experience in the HIV/AIDS case. Until the patents have been waived and until the Indian company Cipla got an opportunity to supply vaccine, the average cost of HIV/AIDS treatment was around $15,000 per year. And when Cipla supplied medicines for HIV patients, the cost has come down drastically to $350 per year. And this has saved thousands of African lives. So this is the contribution of India to the global fight against AIDS. Today we need to replicate this even in the global fight against the COVID-19. So Moderna and Pfizer or some other company, Johnson, should ensure that the profit do not prevail over the people today. And the American president has a unique opportunity to waive these patents. Even 100 members of the American Congress, American Parliament also appealed to the US administration to waive the patents. And nothing wrong also. It is not even unethical because the American government has liberally funded research on vaccines. When Donald Trump was the president of the United States, he introduced a program called Operation Warp Speed. As part of this program, $10 billion, that means around 1,000 crore dollars were given to the pharma companies to augment their research, to accelerate the research activity. A company like Moderna got around $1 billion, 100 crore dollars funding from the American government. Not only that, these pharma companies have used the research done by the American government agencies. For example, National Institute of Health developed molecular engineering technology has been used by these pharma companies for inventing the virus, inventing the vaccine for the virus. So therefore, American government has funded this research, and American government funded research organizations even provided as a part of the knowledge for the discovery of the vaccine. So, and even by now, these big pharma companies have earned a lot of money. So in 2021, the expected revenues of Moderna was to the tune of $18 billion, and expected revenue of Pfizer is to the tune of $15 billion. So the big pharma companies have reaped huge profits. So this is the time for them to give up this greed and ensure that the world get vaccinated at the earliest. Unfortunately, only India, China and Russia are supplying vaccines to outside companies. In fact, the Biden is going to get benefited. America is going to get benefited by this. Well, big pharma company profits may be controlled, may be cut down, but the United States as a nation and President Biden will certainly benefit from this. But the problem is these pharma companies have contributed to Biden's campaign fund to the tune of $6 million. So will he listen to the conscience of the mankind, or will Biden succumb to the pressures of the pharma companies is something to be watched. And the United States government is going to get a patent on the spike protein, which was critical for development of vaccine. So it is the time for the Biden administration to prevail over these big pharma companies and ensure that the mankind gets the cheaper vaccine. The moment vaccine technology is shared with other companies and after waiving the patents, many vaccine manufacturers across the world which do not have the knowledge of the vaccine, which have not developed the vaccine, will start manufacturing. The idle capacity of these vaccine manufacturers is still available. So the world can definitely produce enough vaccines immediately at the earliest to ensure that the vaccination of the mankind takes place. But the problem here is American government should have that commitment. So it will ensure that America retains and regains the leadership of the world also. Post-COVID-19, America is no longer the leader for fight against the COVID. So by waiving the patents on vaccines, US will regain and retain the leadership of the world. And President Biden will be way ahead of the President Jinping. If he can, even America, it will help America to counter the Chinese influence, because China is trying to use the vaccine diplomacy to expand its influence also. And besides this, well, it will improve the global economic growth, because as long as the virus exists anywhere in the world, the fear of the pandemic or the threat of pandemic continues to linger. So therefore, America is going to gain and President Biden is going to gain. Of course, you need to control the greed or the selfishness of the big pharma companies.